the 5 most undervalued aspects of nutrition for BJJ. Now, these are the 5 things that we feel are not really getting tapped into, which when you do is going to really level up your jiu-jitsu and your energy overall. So many folks out there doing lots of different stuff. They're doing saunas, they're doing ice baths, they're taking all kinds of supplements. But really, people, when you talk to them, you say, how's your diet? They're like, oh, bit crap.
Could be better.
Yeah, that's always the way, right? It doesn't
Always.
matter who we talk to. They might be dialing in their training, their stretching. You're like, great.
Just bought this new solo drills DVD, bro. I'm on it.
Bro, I got the 8 sleep.
Yep, that's right.
Like just doing all of this.
Everything around, yeah.
All this peripheral stuff, but neglecting the base, which is nutrition. And we're going to get into the 5 key things that you really need to be addressing, which is going to help you. Number 1. This is number 1. It doesn't mean this is the number 1 thing, but I'm going to start with this. I've got this as good word from chief nutritionist at the UFC Performance Center in Shanghai. His name's Reed Real. Check him out. He wrote the white paper on how to cut weight.
We did an episode with him maybe
we did.
100 eps ago.
Yeah, ages
back.
ago. It was just after COVID actually, and he'd been locked in a hotel for like 18 months.
Yeah.
In Guangzhou or wherever the bloody hell he was. But he was at the Gatorade Institute, working with the athletes there, football players, all kinds of things. And then the UFC kind of poached him.
Right on.
And he wrote the baseline document, which serves as the way in which athletes try to cut weight in the UFC.
Right on.
Really smart guy, black belt, savage. I've lost to him at least 3 or 4 times in competition. Never beat that guy, but give him a run for his money. This is what he said. BJJ athletes need to eat like football players. We're saying NRL football players here because they eat a really good mixture of carbohydrates, fats, and protein. Because, like rugby,
And they eat a lot.
they eat a lot because they're running a lot. They're smashing their bodies up a lot. They really have to work hard to keep their nutrition up. And he feels that a jiu-jitsu athlete is more akin to like a rugby athlete than anything else.
Right.
And he said the biggest mistake we make is we cut back on carbs. What's going on there? We're obsessed with how we look. We all want to do the geese off, like abs out kind of thing. And carbohydrates has been demonized for a long time. But really, this is the fuel. This is what we need.
Yeah.
When you're doing any activity that lasts more than, say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're going to need some carbs.
Yeah. It's funny. I have just been paying attention to it more recently because I've been wearing the whoop.
Oh, yeah.
And or the whoop for the Americans. And it's like I'm actually really surprised at how intense jiu-jitsu training is. Even when I'm just coaching and then maybe I jump in and do a couple of rounds, it's an intense output for me based on every other thing that I do.
Yeah.
Even if I go and do some fucking hill sprints or I go for a medium distance run, I'm like, that really hardly touches what I do in a jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah.
And carbohydrates are the high octane fuel source that your body evolved to thrive on. There is sort of no way around it. Anyone that tells you otherwise is grifting. There are other fuel sources, but the absolute fucking jet fuel for our bodies is carbohydrate.
100%. And even though a jiu-jitsu round might be short, and someone might make the argument, oh, it's only 5 minutes, only 6 minutes. Classically, jiu-jitsu coaches will not give you enough rest time in between the rounds. It's like 5-minute round, 1 minute rest. Get some water, get back in.
Yeah, if you just did a hard round and then you got 1 minute before the next hard round, that feels like about like 5 seconds.
You're cooked.
Yeah.
And really, if you don't have enough glycogen in your liver, like if your liver is not stocked up and is pumping the glycogen out to your muscles, you're kind of like we all know what it's like when we just are cooked after 2 rounds, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we're not attributing it to a lack of eating. Like we're not thinking, oh, I'm under eating. Because,
I forgot to have enough coffee.
Yeah,
Shit, I did an ice bath yesterday. Shit, I didn't get up at 2:45 to ice bath and do my breath and meditation or training this morning.
All the nonsense when really you're under-fueled.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Even though the rounds might be short, you still had the warm-up, you still had the technique, you still had the specific. If you're ecological, you've still had all the constraint-based games. Like, there's a high energy output. And here's the other thing too. When you're learning, which is primarily what you should be doing when you're at jiu-jitsu, for you to actually learn, your brain can only use blood glucose. It can't use fat. It's going to struggle to use ketones. Like, that's what's passing the blood-brain barrier for your brain to work. So if you don't have that in there, you're not going to be absorbing the lesson or learning.
Wait, can't use ketones and shit to learn?
It's way harder. It's way harder. I don't crucify me on this, folks, but when you start getting into ketosis and your body is breaking itself down, your body is actually going to be using a lot of energy to create the energy. It's like ketones is like
Unideal fuel source.
It's not ideal. And when you just need ATP, you just need sugar in the muscles as soon as you can. You want to make sure your liver's stocked up. So here's something which was kind of debunked not that long ago, which is about fasted activity. And there was always this thing like, oh, if you do fasted cardio, it's way better. But what they actually found was
way better for fat loss.
Fat loss.
Yeah.
And we do, we all like, oh, I wouldn't mind being a bit leaner or whatever, like we all go through that from time to time. Or maybe you're someone who's focused on weight loss.
Hour to hour,
No. But if, let's say your goal is to lose 20 kilos, 40 pounds, whatever it might be. This idea of like fasted cardio, oh, well, jiu-jitsu's cardio, right? Like I'll just do it fasted. What they have shown very clearly is if you have nothing to eat before exercise, your exercise intensity will remain quite low. Whereas if you actually do have something, even if it's just a banana or a small snack, your ability to generate energy is way higher because by eating that, it sends a message to your liver, hey, liver, we're going to get some carbs soon. You can pump out that glycogen.
Right.
Whereas if you don't do that, the liver's like, no, you can't have this glycogen, bruh. I'm keeping it. It gets stingy with the glycogen. And so even though you may have some energy in the tank, it won't allow it to get pumped out as a survival mechanism. So the idea of doing something fasted actually lowers exercise intensity. And so this isn't so helpful for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right. Your carbs are the one. It's funny. One of the first books I ever read about the whole paleo thing was The Paleo Solution by Rob Wolf.
Ah, yes.
And it was cool. Like I enjoyed it at the time, and it was quite influential to me at the time. And following Rob Wolf on Instagram, that book is very much like anti-grains, right? No grains, no legumes. It's all anti-nutrient stuff trying to kill you. So it's basically meat and veggies.
Yes.
And
I don't mind that way of eating.
No, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
But it's just funny, once he took up jiu-jitsu, I think he might be a black belt now. But,
okay.
So I remember when he first took it up, but he was like, oh, wow. He was like a CrossFit, functional fitness guy. But he's like, I've taken up jiu-jitsu and I've actually had to start getting a bit more carbs. And so I've been eating some grains. And I was just like, how funny. You're doing a, you know what I mean? Like it's just a more demanding thing. And all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I need some carbs. Yeah. Maybe they're not so bad after all.
Oh, imagine. Imagine.
Oh, we can all change our mind. But it's, carbs are important, man. And it's kind of, I think we often misplace our efforts to try to lose weight in the wrong areas.
Yeah.
And so one of those efforts is like, oh, I'm going to reduce my carbs, going to help reduce body fat. Maybe there's an inkling of truth in that, and that could be part of your approach. But starving yourself of carbohydrate when you are trying to perform at a reasonable level on the mats regularly, it's not going to be your best strategy.
Look, you shouldn't, from what I've learned about behavioral science, from people way smarter than me, we're talking like Atomic Habits, we're talking people who literally use, biochemistry to change people's lives. Essentially, you shouldn't try and do two things at once. So if you're really trying to lose weight, you shouldn't try and quit smoking at the same time. This is very hard to do. You could, but it'll be really tough. In the same way, if you're really trying to do something physically hard, you have to make sure you're eating to support it. Trying to be like, oh, I'm going to lose 20 kilos and also do jiu-jitsu, not that it can't happen.
And I got a comp coming up.
It's so much harder, right? You're playing life on hard mode.
Yeah.
So let's go. I think part of the reason why carbs get demonized is food fads. And this is number 2. This is where we're up. We're neglecting what makes sense for what's cool right now.
Yep.
So let's talk carnivore. Let's talk keto. Let's talk veganism. Let's talk all the extreme ends and why that is actually up your jiu-jitsu. So nutritionally, could you just eat meat for a month and just be okay if you don't do shit? Yeah, you probably could. You'd be fine. You could probably not eat any food for a month. And if you don't have an active lifestyle, you'd be shitty, but you could get away with it, But is this going to help you be good for jiu-jitsu? No. And you might be trying it right now. You might be like, no, I'm doing the keto thing, man. I'm buying ketones from my local CrossFit, which has proven to not really do anything. But yeah, I'm just, but I have some beers on a Friday. But I'm keto.
The weekends
Yeah, I got these keto cookies.
Yeah.
Bro, the difficulty with a lot of these extreme kind of food fads that come in and get popularized by your local podcaster, international famous podcaster, or some celebrity you follow on Instagram, it's generally about making money. There's something to the marketing scheme which allows that person to create leverage to make money. It's not necessarily in your best interest. So when we have a look at these different food fads, part of the reason why they come through as myths or fads is it doesn't last that long. People do it for 2 or 3 months and they're like, I can't live my life and do this. First month was great.
Well, they get it usually a couple of years in, and within that couple of year period, it's enough time for them to like start blogging about it, start a podcast, start influencing those around them that this is the way. And then once they realize their hormones are a mess,
Or they get debunked.
and they're knocking on death's door, they stop the podcast. They don't write on the blog anymore, but they don't tell anyone.
No.
So you're like, but I heard that thing was really good. You're like, yeah, no, but what you didn't follow was the rest of the story when they almost died. Now they just eat a balanced diet.
Yeah, it's like Cali Muscle. It's like he's all about being natural. And you're like, the dude took more steroids than anyone for years. People are like, how do I get lean and jacked? He's vegan, you know? Yeah, but he was also on steroids for 20 years. Like, there is like androgenic effects for a long time post. Like, it's that's the thing that's crazy to me that, they talk about like these different athletes who are vegan. It's like, but they weren't lifetime vegan. There was a time where they ate meat and they built themselves up. Now they're vegan. What we don't get to see, and obviously it's kind of boring, like as if you'd want to follow it. 5 years later, you find out, oh, they're not vegan. They've gone. They're also been on steroids the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfair. Which is the lack of transparency around some of these fads. When you see someone saying, "I eat like this. What I eat in a day. Shoot me now. I don't give a fuck what you eat in a day. You're a muppet. Shut up." But I know it's not going to make sense because you're trying to make money or stand out and be different when the truth is eating a balanced diet isn't sexy, or it isn't like it's something you've probably heard a million times. So the challenge here, folks, is to be able to see through what is being sold as popular for, does that help my BJJ? Because there's some folks who will say eating a vegetarian diet is better for me for various reasons, X, Y, Z. And I'm not against a vegetarian diet at all. And power to you if you have a sustainable way to do that. But the challenge is this, whether you are more on the protein side or you're more on the carb side, or however you want to go with your diet, having an extreme version either way doesn't necessarily give you what you need to be able to repair from jiu-jitsu. That's what I would say. That's why these things fall down in the face of the challenge.
Yeah, and sometimes you're fighting an uphill battle trying to follow some of those diets. Sometimes it could be the best thing for you, right? Like, because you might have come from a place where you're just eating takeaway, processed shit like 90% of the time, and then you jump onto something like paleo or keto, and all of a sudden you're eating more whole foods and it's natural and you're preparing it yourself. That could be a total net positive for you in your life. But you just got to take it with a grain of salt that perhaps it was the removal of processed foods that allowed you to feel healthy again. And so while keto was one way to do that, there's a whole bunch of other ways for you to approach that. And this is usually what the thing is, right? For people who jump on these fads, it's the stuff they cut out that has the most significant effect on their health. And so if you keep that in mind, and it's like, well, use the fad as a tool to cut the shit out.
Yeah.
But then don't be afraid to explore while still trying to keep the bad stuff or the less ideal stuff out of your diet.
Yeah, and look, there's heaps of trends out there, right? Like people wearing glucose monitors. It's like, oh, I don't want to spike my insulin. But it's been debunked, my friends. Like, insulin spikes are natural in healthy people. If you got type 2 diabetes, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if you don't buy a glucose monitor. So stop with that. Like there's many things that get popularized within the fitness industry which aren't necessarily helping your jiu-jitsu. And that's what we're talking about here. Ladies and gentlemen, not everything I say is in good taste, but I'll tell you what is in good taste. Sodi, the sponsor of today's episode. Now, this is the sample pack. This has got every flavor in the rainbow. We've got pineapple, grapefruit, citrus, berry, passion fruit, raspberry. I love raspberry. And this is the best way to dip your toe. It's got all the electrolytes that are going to keep the water, that's going to keep the water in your muscles so you get great performance at jiu-jitsu, and it tastes delicious. If you go to Sodi, SODII.com.au and use the code Bulletproof15, you get 15% off and you get yourself some delicious hydration. Get it today. Shoo. Now, number 3, and we have talked about it a fair bit, but this really, people are still not clicking with this. Protein. And why do we say this? Because the amount of your body breaking down as a result of jiu-jitsu, whether it's direct impact damage or just muscles breaking down from so much use from just loving and doing jiu-jitsu, if you are not having enough protein, and having enough protein is a fair bit, you're not going to repair, you're not going to restore, and you're kind of working yourself gradually until you end up with some kind of breakdown, whether it's tissue breakdown, digestive breakdown. Like it's one of those things that you can kind of go suboptimally for a while until the thing breaks. And lack of protein is a huge factor in that.
Yeah. Protein, I just think like if you're not getting it in at each of your 3 meals in the day, you are training, you're not eating enough. Like simply put, and like for an adult human, man or woman, like an egg or some cheese or some yogurt is not enough for a meal, right?
And part of it is it's expensive.
It's the valuable part of every meal.
It's money, right?
Yeah.
You look at it doesn't matter, you go takeaway, wherever you go, the highest price item on the, other than like, obviously it could be lobster or caviar, or I don't know what you banned with.
Sources.
I don't know about caviar, but fat, yeah. But here's the thing, usually the highest price item has the most amount of protein.
Yeah.
Like piece of steak, piece of fish, whatever the it is, you'll notice the cheaper products, carbs. And it's because it's cheaper to produce that. It's way more energy intensive and expensive to produce this.
Well, yeah, an animal soul had to be taken in order for this protein to make its way onto the table.
Possibly. The soul snatcher.
Yeah. But
that's the thing, true. Like, even if your protein comes from a plant source, that plant was probably harder to grow or process than something else, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a chickpea or, even if we look at fat content, if we look at like an avocado, they take a lot of water for you to be able to grow an avocado, right?
Yeah.
So I think the thing about protein is if you're not getting like a minimum of like 1 gram of protein per kilo of body weight, or it's like, what is it? Like a gram to every 2.2 pounds of body weight, then you're
way under.
You're way under. And even then I would say you're under. And here's the interesting thing. Everybody has different tolerances for protein intake, but when you actually, even healthy, fit people, when you get them to go, they're like, I want to get stronger. You're like, okay, you're going to have to up this to like 2 grams or 2.5 grams per, kilo of body weight. People are like, oh my God, that's a lot. There's a bit of work in that, right?
I'll tell a story about a young fella who came and trained with me here, jiu-jitsu guy.
Okay.
And he was I think he was a blue belt, maybe a purple belt, but he'd been on the mats a while and bit of a no-gi savage, loving it. And he came in because he's like, hey, I want to get some strength tips from you. So we did. Actually, his partner bought him a few PT sessions with me as a Christmas gift.
How nice.
Yeah. And or
great
birthday
idea.
thing. And yeah, that's right. And we did some great training together, and I was just sharing with him some insights. And he was a fit, strong guy, did a bunch of trainings, in good nick. But I asked him about his diet, and he was like, I can't eat in the mornings. And I asked why. He said, I get, like, if I eat in the mornings, like, my stomach hurts. And I was like, what's the deal with that? And he's like, it's always been that way kind of since I was a kid. And I was like, wow, that really kind of sounds problematic to me. But we kept just sort of training and going through it. And I kept quizzing him, and sort of what I arrived at was, I think that this guy has just never eaten enough. And I think that it's just that his gut is just not comfortable
Being full.
Yeah, being full. And so I kind of challenged him on it, and I said, I'm making an assumption here. What I'd like you to try is eating first thing when you get up. And I was like, make it something substantial, like we've spoken about, right? A few eggs, toast with cottage cheese, whatever, avocado.
Yep.
And I was like, can you try? He's like, yeah, I'll give it a go. Anyway, he got back to me a couple weeks later and he said, hey, it's feeling good. Like actually eating first thing, I'm feeling fine with it. And I was like, that's awesome. I ran into him maybe earlier this year or late last year. And he's like, bro, I just wanted to tell you, like, I've been eating consistently and like I've put on like 10 kilos and I feel so f***ing strong. And he goes, yeah, it's just funny looking back at how I thought I couldn't. And it's very interesting because he got by.
Yeah.
He got by eating the way he was, but it was not congruent with what he was trying to achieve at all.
No.
And so sometimes that thing of like just forcing yourself to do something for a week or two, your body recalibrates.
Adapts.
And there you go. Now you're on track.
100%. That's such a good story. And there's so many easy ways to do this, right? It doesn't matter if you're vegetarian, you're vegan, like there's always ways for you to get protein in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a meal. If you're someone who doesn't like eating in the morning, you could do a shake.
Yeah.
Like a shake doesn't smash you in the same way like a big meal does. And if you're someone who's like struggling with time, it could just be a couple of little yogurts.
I had a bowl of yogurt with natural yogurt just with some honey on it. I ate driving into the gym this morning and just eating this.
Joe had the beehive. He was cultivating it. He had the cow in the back.
Smoking the bees.
The baby cow. And he's just like milking the cow, driving with his feet. It's very jiu-jitsu. And he just put it all together in the bowl. And what do you know? Farmer Joe.
But very digestible, right? Like
Very.
like yogurt. Like it's not solid stuff. It's great pre-training.
Probiotic. It's all the good stuff right there. And so I think that's the thing. The reason why we have talked so much about protein is because we're also about people doing the lifting, which supports the jiu-jitsu. And if you're not eating enough, you can't build a house without supplies.
We're also big fans of protein powder.
Yes.
It's an excellent supplement. It helps you meet those needs.
Definitely. And so let's go now to number 4, which is snack for recovery. Now, I'm not talking like a Snickers bar. I'm not talking like a piece of cake. I'm talking about plan your snacks so your jiu-jitsu's better. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the pre-training snack or the post-training snack. Because these are the times when we if we had made the effort to have it, and it doesn't have to be super complicated, it doesn't take meal prepping. If you have it, your training will be better and you'll bounce back from training quicker. Now, there's been a ton of research to show that it doesn't matter if you eat something 20 minutes after training versus 5 hours, but I'll tell you, the difference in how I feel is huge.
Yeah.
Whatever the is going on in my muscles, I don't give a shit. But if I am able to have a protein shake post-training or a protein bar with some coconut water or something, I feel like my whole nervous system calms down. I feel like I've started the recovery process.
Yeah.
Also, if I come into jiu-jitsu, even though it's okay to be like maybe a little bit hungry, like we were talking about before about the whole coming into training fasted, if you're trying to learn and you're trying to bring some intensity to rolling, just a banana, just have a banana half an hour before training could make all the difference between that being a great session or being an average session.
Yeah.
The pre-training snack is, and you're very big on this, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I've been bad at it I was bad at it for a long time. I didn't really pay it a lot of attention. I think through my whole 20s, I was just I was super paleo guy.
Man, but all of us.
Yeah.
In our 20s, like
kept me lean and, I thought I was doing the right things. But these days, like a mid-afternoon snack, what I notice about myself is if I don't eat, I cross a certain threshold where I now no longer need to eat.
Right.
Right. And so because I get into the work that I'm doing, if I'm at the computer, like I'll always eat breakfast because it's kind of a milestone of the day.
Yep.
Do the training in the morning, have breakfast, start my day. And then if I'm on track with my work and I'm in a flow, I just don't want to stop and have lunch.
Stay in it. Yeah.
And I could literally go till the evening and then get home and be like, oh, it's dinner time, which isn't supportive of what I'm trying to achieve at all. No. So I actually have to force myself to take that break. So pre-training snack is the same thing. I have to force myself. Joe, it's 3:30. Go and eat some yogurt and a banana. Like, do it now, even though you don't want to.
Yeah.
And then I do it, and I feel better for it every time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a challenge.
Because most of us we're probably overly caffeinated, all of us.
To an extent.
Right? And so you can ride that kind of anxiety, sort of riddled energy all the way to training. But you're not showing up in your best form.
No.
Whereas the snack kind of snaps you out of that, gives you a bit of fuel, makes the body be like, hey, we're supported, we got some nutrients.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, let's go train.
Look, I want to redefine snack because I think oftentimes people think of a snack as like, oh, a cookie with my coffee or something like that, right? Or they're like, oh, I'll have a pastry. Nutritionally, that shit is replete. It is giving you nada. And that's the thing about it. It takes a lot from your digestion to break it down because it's super processed. So it means you're using all these digestive enzymes to turn it into anything. And then maybe you get a little bit of carbs. Maybe. When I say a snack, I'm talking about like, and this is going back to the first point of like eating like a footballer, like we're talking bit of fat, bit of protein, bit of carbs.
Like a mini meal.
A mini meal. Yeah. A snack is a mini meal. And so for me, like that looks more like an egg sandwich, a protein shake. There'll probably be a coffee in there. And if I have a coffee, then I might have a protein bar. Like
handful of nuts and a piece of fruit.
Maybe some chocolate, like dark chocolate, preferentially. The reason why I love dark chocolate with like some
very high protein
almonds, there's a bit of protein in there, but let me tell you, it's got arginine in it.
It's also got that lead cadmium if you go for the lint.
Oh, hey man, it's not their corporate responsibility to not put lead in there, okay? It's a premium product.
What's arginine?
L-arginine, like the beta-alanine and L-arginine are like two things that help you with muscle pump.
Oh, it's like an amino.
It helps with blood circulation and blood vessel dilation.
Gives
you pump.
Right on.
So they often put it in pre-workout.
Yeah,
so like my friend James Ross, shout out Richmond Gym, GS Science. He was like, bro, because I've struggled with beta-alanine, like I get the tingles.
I get those tingles. I hate it.
I feel like I'm having a stroke.
Yeah.
Like I'm as insensitive as I am to caffeine, I'm hypersensitive to that.
Right.
And it makes me feel uncomfortable. He's like, oh, bro, just have like some almonds and some dark chocolate. It works just as well.
Oh, wow.
So for muscle pump, great, right?
Sick.
So pre-gym, another way you can do that.
no-gi session coming up. You know what time it is. It's almond and dark chocolate time.
It's almond time. Arm yourself. So by making your snack or your mini meal just a little bit more, like there's a little bit more to it, you're going to get way more out of it.
Yeah.
I think this is what I'm trying to push for. Go into your BJJ session with more fuel in the tank for better rolls, and then just have something. Like I always have a protein bar in my bag. Like I always have to have something with me. If I get stuck in traffic and I'm hungry, there might be a incident.
Yeah.
I might do a homicide that day. It's like that. So I got to have snacks.
You know what I will say these days, the level of snacks that you can buy from your local gas station, Servo, is excellent.
Bro, you can get muscle meals there.
Dude, yeah, that's right. Like I never go for that because I never want to do the microwave thing and all that. But I will often, like mid-afternoon, if I've got a long drive or if I'm kind of like lunch was a few hours ago and training's coming up, I'll go, like you can go there and you can get like a chicken sandwich or a ham and salad. Like it's made fresh and the shit's got plenty of protein in it. You grab a little protein yogurt as well.
Sure.
Grab yourself a little grass-fed beef stick.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of shit, or a little sushi tray.
Bro, you can get like a buttered chicken curry with rice and shit. Like the pre-made meals, the snack game in service stations is wild.
I mean, curry, I got to draw a line at pre-training.
Fair.
Just the spice, just the.
No, but what's interesting
there's
is
good
the
nutrients.
diversity of the food there.
Yeah.
You don't have to default to a chocolate bar or a
packet
pastry,
of chips and
whatever the
that's right.
So yeah, the snack game is for your recovery. 1, performance, but 2, helping you bounce back so you can get after that training the next day or the day after. The last but not least, 5, hydration. It's a big deal, folks. We're talking electrolytes. Why the do we need this? Now, so funny to me. I had a chat with, I was telling Joe about my deep dive on the Korean cosmetics game and what's current.
I was enthralled in that conversation.
But what's so interesting to me, I was talking to a woman who is not a makeup artist, but like a beautician, what have you. And she was like, you know what, just drink more water. She was like, you don't wear makeup. I was like, sometimes. Depends on the party. But no, I was like, is it a JB's Christmas party? Because I'll put on that frock. I'll frock up. No, she just said to me, she's like, well, you're a guy, right? So you're not putting makeup on your skin. She's like, the biggest problem for most women is they put makeup on and they got to take it off and it f- their skin up, right? And so they've got to do a bunch of shit to try and fix their skin up. And there's this perpetual cycle of makeup remover, moisturizers, all this nonsense, right? She's like, you don't have to do that. She's like, the one thing I can tell you, because I said to her, I got really dry skin. I get eczema, I get all these problems. She's like, just drink more water, please. I was like, yes, ma'am. But I was like, I already drink a ton of water. What then?
I drink the same amount of water that I drink in coffee. Which do I need to 10x my water or do I need to minus 10x my coffee?
Tell me, Grant Cardone. But here's the thing, just drinking the water isn't enough. So there's plenty of people out there, they got the big drink bottle. It's great. But, you know, and I've had a few clients actually say, I just run to the toilet all the time, pissing all the time, right? I put the water in, the water goes out. What do I do about that? That's why we are so big on making sure you've got some kind of electrolytes in your water, whatever that looks like. For some people, it might even just be the sprinkle of salt.
Yeah.
You were saying squeeze a lemon.
Bit of lemon juice, yeah.
Whatever, do, because that is what's going to help your body hold on to the water. Now, the sodium is what keeps it in your bloodstream. But what a lot of people don't know is you've got these things called sodium-potassium pumps, and potassium is actually what pulls the water into the muscle. So you get a bunch of potassium in bananas. You get a bunch of potassium in coconut water.
Yep.
Coconut water, very popular. Make sure you just flip it around and make sure it has got the potassium in there. But sodium and potassium, they go hand in hand.
This is also where a diverse diet helps too, right? Because a lot of green leafy vegetables will have potassium. And
Also a bit of magnesium. Now, the thing about caffeine, which is negative, it does strip magnesium out of the gut.
Okay.
It also takes out calcium as well.
Right.
And we need both magnesium, because magnesium, here's the thing, I didn't know this for years. I just thought magnesium was great for chilling out. I got some magnesium. I had this real bad calf cramps. I was playing a lot of closed guard, just squeezing like closed guard. I was getting crazy calf cramps. And someone put me onto magnesium spray, and you just spray it on, rub it into the muscles, and it was amazing. And what I didn't know about magnesium for years is that it actually draws calcium to the muscle.
Right.
And calcium is what enables us to make strong muscle contractions. So if you're lacking magnesium, it will be hard for you to form these strong muscle contractions because you haven't got this thing drawing the calcium to the muscles to make it happen. So having sodium, potassium, and magnesium together is like this holy trinity of hydration. And Gatorade just ain't cutting it.
No, and it's a really easy way to waste a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
so expensive
a lot of them, right? Like Gatorade, even Hydrolyte, which is a popular brand that people buy at chemists.
Weak.
It's pretty weak. When you compare it to something like Sodi,
Yeah.
or Element, right? Like these are like really like high dose electrolyte supplements.
Yeah.
That, you don't need to be drinking them all the time.
No.
But pumping one of those after training or a little bit before, a little bit after, during, like around training time.
I'm a bit more in the morning kind of guy, but whatever you like, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm morning always, but if I'm training jiu-jitsu, I usually don't do 2 sachets a day.
Right.
So I'll do a homemade salt and lemon in the morning then.
Cool.
But if I get up on a day where I'm not training jiu-jitsu, I'm straight to the Sodi.
Bro, I have tried to reduce my caffeine intake because this is the balance, right? Caffeine, as much as it can take away the tiredness, it will also take away, it basically blocks anti-diuretic hormone, which means it's going to strip the water out your body, as well as the good electrolytes and minerals. So, I mean, that's the thing, really. There's plenty of people out there drinking Gatorade, right? Plenty of people out there, they might even be thinking Prime is like a hydration solution. There's all kinds
Prime
of shit.
is so shit.
It's so garbage.
It's so shit. I was excited to try some when I went to the States. I don't know why. It's because I was hungover. We were in Vegas and I'm like drinking more than I usually would. And I was like, I'm going to get some. And I was like, yeah, Prime.
Yeah.
One, it tasted like piss. But also, I looked at the ingredients. It's just got all going on.
No, it's rubbish actually, and the setup for the electrolytes is pretty terrible. So, really, I mean, other than your food, if you are someone who doesn't mind a coffee, you want to factor in that you need something that's going to counteract. The coffee's going to want to take it out of your body. You need something to keep it in the body, and that's why the electrolytes coming in on the hydration tip is going to help you. And even though, don't worry, there is some value in, I would say there's probably more value in getting like a Gatorade or a Powerade powder so you can kind of control it.
Yeah.
Just don't, put a half scoop. You don't have to put in like 10 scoops.
Yeah.
And then balancing that out with an electrolyte mix, that's ideal.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Or even, and I've used that when it's all I could get access to. I would even take the Gatorade or Powerade, which is an Aussie version we have here. But I would put the powder and then I would add extra sodium, like extra salt, just from my salt thing.
Yeah, yeah. And
just to make it somewhat more effective.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. We want to improve your experience of jiu-jitsu. So let's just summarize that, shall we?
Yes.
All 5. Number 1, you need carbs. You got to get the carbs in there to have the energy, to go the distance, to perform well, and just enjoy your training and learn some stuff. Number 2, don't play into the food fads. Like, it doesn't matter if Joe Rogan does it. He's also on TRT and every other drug under the sun, cocaine. He's making it happen. I mean, if you got the Joe Rogan budget, please, do whatever you like. But not all of us do. So, yeah, don't play into the food fads. Number 3, protein. Got to get it. Repair your body. Get strong. Get jacked. Protein will make such a difference to you, and you don't realize it until you do it. It's really the secret sauce. And number 4, like, you got to snack. Don't think of snacks as like a garbage throwaway thing. If you make that snack a mini meal, that is really going to be an unlock for jiu-jitsu performance and recovery. Mm-hmm. And then hydration, we're not just talking gallons of water. We're talking electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium. Get it into you. That's what you need.
There it is.
All right. Thanks, folks. Now, if you would like more information like this, and you would like also to kind of go a bit deeper on this kind of thing, we have a community on Facebook. We talk this stuff. It's part of being a member of our app. If you go and you download the app, you do the free trial, you get to unlock access to our community group, access to Joe and myself, Raylene, and we talk that good talk and we help you get better for jiu-jitsu. So take the free trial, get in there on the App Store, Play Store, get a piece. You'll love it. See you in there.